In this video, we will talk about the arrays. In this project, I created a tennis player and a tester class to test the tennis player. In the tennis player, we have several instance variables. Full name, which is a string, and scores. Scores is how many points they score in a game. So we declare it as integer, and count to keep track of how many games have been played so far. And then we have constructors, two constructors. This constructor is no parameter constructor. As soon as we create a tennis player, we create the array of integers, which is scores. And we assume that there are maximum 10 games that might be played in a season. We use 10 here. And then we have parameterized constructor, string, and we use set full name to set the name of the tennis player. And these set full name, get full name are the setters and getters for the full name. And here we have info to display full name of the user. Okay, so now let's create. So let me just comment this out. Okay, or let me also explain that. So play game is so let's look at here. As soon as the tennis player plays a game, we get the score. And initially, if there is, let's say there is no game yet, so the count will be 0 initially. Okay, we said on the top count is 0. If there is no game played yet, the first the index of the first in the array, it will be 0 because indexes starts from 0. So the count is 0, and when you enter a new score, you want to insert it to the index 0. So you insert that and increment the count by 1. So now there is only one game played. If you play another game, so for example, let me just comment these two out, and then if I run the program, okay, full name Bilal Gonen, and per game 0 and 0. Okay, so if you look at the where was that info? Okay, system print full name and then per game. Per game is the average game, average score per game. So if you look at the here, okay, so let me just display this way. Score per game. We say if count is 0, return 0 because we don't want to display anything if there is no game yet. And here we say otherwise sum is 0, and we iterate through all of the items, so from 0 to count. Remember, this is count, this is not the length of the array. Length of the array is 10, but we are not using all of the 10 items because there is no game yet. So the count represents how many games are actually played. Okay, so we say count, and we add all the numbers, all the scores into the sum, and outside of the for loop we display sum divided by count. So this is the average scores per game. We have to typecast at least one of these numbers, either sum or count. If you don't do it, the sum is a integer, count is also integer, integer divided by integer is also integer, then you would get incorrect result. So that's why we have to typecast one of them. Okay, so score per game is returned from here. If you look at the info, we say full name and then per game. Per game, score per game. So it comes from this method. And whatever is returned from this method is displayed on the screen. Okay, so if we run it, we get this. And play game. If we look at the play game, okay, right here. So you insert it to the score array and increment count by 1. Okay, so let me just comment this in. Okay, play game. Okay, now it says per game is 5. Okay, now if we play another game which is 20. Okay, now the count is 2. Okay, count is 2 because there are 2 games. The total score is 25. So 25 divided by 2, 12.5. Okay, and now we display the info of the player. Okay, so score per game. And now let's have another tennis player. Okay, tennis player. Okay, so for this one, tennis player is John Smith. Okay, and here we use parameterized constructor, John Smith, and play game 15, and there is only one game, P2 info. So if I run this, okay, full name Bilal Gonen, and the other one full name John Smith, per game 15.0. Okay, I hope this is clear. If there is any question, please let me know. See you at the next video.